Oh, we have another special caller. Oh, Jesus. This is quite the
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
panel.
What the hell? We're getting like, it's a full house.
This is about to get real crazy. Get strap in.
Uh-oh. I can only imagine who this is going to be. Oh, no.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
let's go.
King himself. Let's fucking go.
The Ralpha male.
I said it earlier.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
we need the Ralpha male here to
Lay down the Memphis SmackDown.
Colt 45 and she zigzags. Hell yeah.
Let's see.
Proud of you, buddy.
If
Ralph.
we get a Ralph, that would be great. Is he here?
He's still ringing.
He's still ringing.
He's there. He just requested to come on.
Oh,
Well, maybe he needed
He's
a minute.
the buddy. He's probably in the hot tub with the senoritas right now. He's got to get out.
Well, Ralph
No
can
doubt,
call in
no
when
doubt.
he's ready for it.
There we go. Here he is.
Hot tub with
Can you hear me, gentlemen?
Yes.
Ralph.
the
Oh, yeah.
Ralpha male.
How you doing this evening?
Go.
Woke
I'm
up.
doing well.
I had been working a story, I guess you could say. Took the day off, then took a little nap. No, I did not. Call Jonathan Harrison. He's without his pet thug anymore because he stole his niece so that he could molest her.
Oh my God.
But
Fact
he.
check true.
Oh.
But he was real high and mighty today because he made half of what I made yesterday and had, I don't know, not even a third of the viewers. But we all know he's getting paid behind the scenes by a certain
Yes.
rotten tooth, another rotten tooth bastard. Actually, now that I think about it, so it's funny how they flock together, birds of a feather and rotten tooth motherfuckers. So yeah. Anyway, I just tuned in about 3 or 4 minutes ago. I thought I'd jump in and drop a hot 16 bars or so, as they say in the rap industry. Yeah, man, I missed the coverage earlier. So what all did you guys hit?
So far, we haven't even gotten into it yet. We've been assembling a panel. We've gotten into
Getting a team together.
We've covered a little bit of what Cog has said on his stream about extorting Ariana Vickers and you for various reasons because she sent an apology. Oh my God, do I have more callers?
I just love that they said that the reason why she's insane is because she apologized to you, Ralph. I'm just like, what?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's not even a joke. By the way, they're saying I'm too loud. I might. Let me try to.
Hold on, I could lower you myself. Don't worry about it.
Can you lower? Okay, all right, good. So I don't have to mess with my settings. Yeah, well, that's again. I have some good sourcing, I guess you could say, on this whole matter. Primary sourcing, perhaps, if you want to use a term. Yeah, she was the mediator because I'll just say the mother of my son said that it was stressing her out to interact with me on what's called the Talking Parents app, where parents who are either getting divorced or in some kind of conflict possibly mode communicate. Yeah, and also it like keeps a record of all the conversations too, and they're admissible in court as well. So anyway, she drugged me into court because she said it was I don't know, causing PTSD or something. I'm not even joking, or something like that. And I was like, okay, I don't really need to just talk to her anywhere. Well, this is what happened. I mean, I was like, okay, all right, fine. I don't need to talk to her anyways. So her mother got made the mediator, Ariana. And so, at first it was
wooed her over.
Well, I'll just say, look, no, nothing like that. But at first it was still kind of frosty, honestly. She was kind of, I still wasn't getting much in the way of updates, and that's a way to punish me, by the way. Now, I won't go into the full agreement or whatever, but obviously I'm supposed to have way more input into my son's life. Not even just input, but like knowledge about his life. And they basically bank on the fact that I won't take it to court and I won't push it. And so anyway, one of the ways to punish me is, just a Xander is fine once a week update. So that's basically what I was still getting at that point, and she was still kind of hostile. And I would say after a couple months, she messaged me and said, look, I was a part of some really nasty stuff during all this over the last, 4 years or whatever it was, about 4 years then. and some stuff I knew was wrong while I was doing it, while I was participating in it, and I knew, and she talked about her religion and stuff like that, and it was just a heartfelt apology, and for burning my mother in effigy on their streams, and so, just stuff, and I did stuff I knew was wrong too, and I apologized for that afterwards. And I said, look, I really appreciate you saying that. Obviously, that did bother me. I'm not gonna lie. And so I said, I appreciate you saying that. You obviously didn't have to, but that meant something to me. And I went on to apologize for several other things that I had done, etc. And we had a better understanding, better. I guess you could call it a detente after that point. And then suddenly they want Cleo. I'm telling a story, please. I won't lock you in a box like Worski does to his cat. Fucking
That's
bastard,
right.
piece of shit, fuck.
Fucking
But
scumbag.
anyway, he should be locked in a box, one under the ground. But anyway, so within a month or so, I'd say, I have to go back to check the exact timeline. Excuse me, her daughter all of a sudden wanted to, I can say the name, I'm just not. Her daughter all of a sudden wanted to change the arrangement and had it changed to her. By the way, none of this went to the court like the original one did. So totally extra legal and still hasn't, quite frankly. But regardless, switched to her brother, who also shares my same first name, Ethan. Well, he's totally useless in every way that I can ever imagine. I mean, I've never seen any talent there. So maybe it's hidden, maybe it's somewhere I can't find it, but he certainly wasn't talented as the mediator between us, but just completely useless. And I think that was the goal. Well, I started complaining about it because I was like, look, this didn't go through the court and he's not responding. Kind of how
Vickers'
they're doing
brother
now, quite
or
frankly.
Fate's brother?
Faith's brother.
What is he? How is he going to be a mediator?
I don't know. He was like
What?
18, 19 at the time, whatever.
Having an 18-year-old be that's bizarre.
Yeah,
What?
I mean, I don't always have problems with 18-year-olds, of
What?
course, in certain situations, but in that situation,
How was that
wasn't up to
approved
the
by a
task.
judge?
No, of course not.
More backroom dealings.
Oh.
Yeah, no, of course not.
It sounds like Ariana was being reasonable with you.
She was.
And then Vickers probably had enough of that, so wanted to pawn it off on someone else that he could convince.
That's exactly my boom, Surfer. You said it, but that's exactly my view on the matter. Now, of course, I can't prove that, so I'll just stick to my opinions and my views. Right? These are opinions. But yeah, that was my perfect read on it, and that I'm not the only one. I'll just say I'm not the only one who shares that opinion. Without quoting anyone directly, but as of now, let's just say, I imagine that might come at some point. But yeah, I'm not the only one who shares that opinion. That as soon as things got cool, they didn't want things to be cool with the mediator, right? That's not their goal in the mind of some people, and I lean towards that too. The real goal is to push me out of Xander's life completely, or at least minimize me as much as possible. So anyway, I complained loudly because he was just completely ignoring, kind of like certain someone's doing right now. But so it switched back to the mother of my son. She's just like, well, I'll just take it over again directly, despite the fact that we had just been in court. I don't know, what 5 months earlier or something like that, 6 months earlier, because she had complained about having to talk to me on the app. She's like, I'll take it over. So I guess whatever. A mental strife it was causing her just cleared up all of a sudden. So anyway, that happened, and then I didn't really talk to Ariana. I don't even think at all. After that, maybe once or twice, like right when the switch was happening, I was like, look, your son's not up to the task, and da da da. So it went back to me and the mother of my son talking, and that actually started getting better as it went along, which I was surprised by. And I talked about this publicly. And of course, the spin from, the guy who raped the 14-year-old over in England, and the spin from the guy who allegedly raped his wife, Matthew Vickers, is that, that I'm digging back into old beefs or whatever. I put out that video before I went to rehab. I really didn't want to do anything like this. Now, certain guy up in New York, he did tag me on Twitter and provoke me. Okay, I responded to that because it's like, okay, if somebody's provoking me directly, whatever. Plus, I still try to make it funny. I did the bit on Mercer's show or whatever. But I didn't like, okay, let's do shows on it. Let's really go all out on it. But, the guy he provoked me. Well, somebody else provoked me. And this is before I went to rehab. And this Matthew Vickers. And he sent me these. Well, first off, he went off into the guy over in England who raped the 14-year-old, according to his own brothers. He went into that guy's chat. Really, really great guy that he paid to be his propagandist, by the way. Just top notch. He's really on my level. But regardless, he went into that chat and he started talking about the details of my visitation. Now, my visitation is supervised, which is for my benefit, really, because you've seen how Matthew Vickers operates, correct? And so,
Yes.
At first, and I've talked to Perspicacity about this off air, and I talked to my lawyer about it too, because I was, at first blush, you'd be like, man, that's fucked up. Supervised visitation, that sucks, da da da. And a certain way it does. First off, I have to pay for it. So, and I have to pay for room and board out there and flight and on top of child support. So, it's onerous, right? And it's meant to be that way because that's how it's set up. But my lawyer explained to me, well, it's actually to your benefit because I know it costs money, but there's a reporter right there. They're taking notes, copious notes. Nothing can be, planted into the child's head or said about what happened on a visit because there's a reporter there taking notes on the interactions, and there's reports for every interaction that I have with my son, which have all been sterling, by the way. So anyway, it's not necessarily, other than the money spent, as bad as people think, right? So it also serves me. So anyway, he goes into the guy who raped the 14-year-old's chat, and he starts talking about how I have to pay for the visits and whether I show up or not, which is not fully true because if the mother doesn't bring my son or has to cancel, actually she has to pay for it. And we had an issue like that early on, so it's not exactly true what he said. If for any reason she was to have to cancel it, she would actually have to pay, not me for the visit. But anyway, he went in there and said what was already known, like just to show his ass in that chat. And so I guess the fake Vickers.
So you're saying
tweeted me or
basically
whatever.
why you struck is because Vickers was already out there spreading all the information. Anyway.
Well, that's how this started. And so then, and I knew that wasn't Vickers who ran the account, but I started quoting it like it was, satirically or whatever. So he emails me. He's like, "You drunk? That's not me." Da, da, da. I was like, "I don't give a fuck," or whatever. I said something like that in response. So we started getting in this back and forth. And one of the emails he sent me was very long, very weird, and like, I read it on air yesterday. "You're stuck at 12 years of age," and da 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 da. Because I asked him how his wife was doing.
Oh my god!
I was like, "How's Ariana, Matt? How's she doing?" And you're stuck at. It's just this long ass email. I could never imagine writing an email this long unless it was like legal related or something. I don't even know. Like he's always been like this. My son showed me Facebook posts before we even got together where he's like going at people on Facebook with long ass treatises and stuff.
Well,
Well,
Like,
we know he's insane.
I mean, remember that when he made that website, the website was just fucking
my God.
pages and pages.
yeah, well, I mean, he was going after his own daughter. I don't know. You
He
guys know the
threatened to
record.
sue her. He threatened to sue her, remember, for the
Yeah.
for the kid case.
yeah, exactly. You guys know the record. So anyway, it's like, you're going to fail rehab, and here's why it's not going to work, and you're stuck at 12 years of age, and you're easily predictable, da 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 da. Well, maybe I am easily predictable. I don't know, but I know one person who definitely is, and that's Matthew Vickers, because if he hears the name Ethan Ralph, it's like a cat with a laser pointer, right? Like you can just easily get his attention. I can, at least, just by
Yes,
existing.
I would say so. I think he's
So-
obsessed with you, whether you give him attention or not. Right.
Right. So he sent me, and I explained some of this in my video, but I think it comes out better in this type of format, actually. Conversational format, right? So I explained this earlier, but I don't know if people could fully follow what I was saying. Regardless, so he sends that email. another email or two, and I'm like, I'm blocking you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I even mentioned to his daughters, like, could you just tell this guy, like, I don't want anything to do with this guy. And he sent me another email. Oh, Faith said said this brought you down, and you didn't. What a coward. Da, 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 da. I was like, well, this is what normal people do, right? Like, it's like, just move on, dude. Like, I don't even. Like, just stop, dude. It's been 5 years now. I'm not leaving my son's life. We're obviously gonna have to deal with each other.
He'll never stop.
At a certain point, even with the guy up in New York I mentioned, it's like, okay, like, yeah, if he tags me on Twitter with a bottle of whiskey or whatever, yeah, all right, I'm gonna cut a promo. But like, at a certain point, that'll have to be settled too, right? Like, all that stuff. And I don't know. I don't want to fight my whole life on that type of nasty battle, right? I understand that, there's a time for that, whatever, people are wounded, but it's been 5 years. So, and I said something similar to Faith, and he's like mocking me. Anyway, I reached out to Ariana, and I was like, what is wrong with this guy? I won't quote exactly. And so I mentioned that to Matthew's daughter, that I'd reached out to her, and then all of a sudden it's, oh, she's crazy, and if she says anything, don't believe anything she says. I have my suspicions about who's writing every once in a while some of the messages I get from that end, right? If you know what I mean. Yes. I'll just say, if you get anything from her, let me know immediately, and don't believe her lies, right? Like, just, oh my God, like, she's crazy, and she's crazy like I was back in so-and-so, and I'm like, okay, all right, I'll let you know. And so, I had actually, I haven't told this actually to anybody, but I'd actually already saw, this is a fresh reveal. I had actually, she said something. She said, if she like messages you from here on out, let me know. And I was like, okay. I'd already had one email, but technically I wasn't lying, right? So I didn't say anything because I was like, well, I'm not lying because she hasn't messaged me again from here on out. Well, the mother of my son and I, we're getting along pretty well. Like I said, it was getting even better. And we were talking about my rehab, and
you actually sound, Ralph, you sound pretty actually reasonable. I think even the chat is like perplexed that you.
Well, I'm trying to be. I'm just trying to tell you the flat out real story, and it's all documented too.
Yeah.
And I'm even telling you the part where I could have told her then, but technically I wasn't lying. Like, all right, I got one email, but okay, I didn't get another one, so I wasn't lying. Well, anyway, in rehab, I had some restrictions on my phone usage. Now it's rehab, like I said, I could leave anytime I want. I wasn't in jail. But that was their recommendation. Now that one, I did talk them into letting me cut the video after the football game, which I probably cursed my own team with, but whatever, it was worth it. Anyway, one of the things I could do, either after lunch or dinner, technically after breakfast, but I was just I'm usually groggy in the mornings, grumpy, right? Like, whatever, I just eat breakfast. But anyway, after lunch or dinner, I would check my phone, and they would let me not get on social media, but they would let me check my WhatsApp with my lawyer, because he was watching my cats, and he would send pictures of my cats, and then they would let me check the talking.
The lawyer had the cats?
Well, now he would come and check it.
This is some lawyer, Ralph. I never heard this is some lawyer.
Dude, you guys don't understand. Like, I told this, and I don't want to get off track. You're gonna make me change stories. Like, people don't understand how.
That's fascinating.
In Mexico, lawyers are not the same as they are in America. They're not paid the same. They're like, it's like a regular
more like
job.
your personal assistant than your lawyer.
It's like Better Call Saul.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's literally like that. Like, it's a more regular job. They don't get paid like they do in America. It's a more dangerous job. I won't go into all that as well. It can be perilous to your health in certain areas and stuff like that. Maybe like the absolute top flight guys, still get a king's ransom, but just your regular solid lawyer gets paid like a middle class wages, right? And there are better jobs and ones with less strife. So they almost all, and just Mexican education in general, they have a more technical education. They're usually able to do like stuff around the house. Like people thought it was crazy that he climbed up my house and was looking at the water stuff. and
Yeah,
all
I know.
this, and
I
it's
mean,
like-
that's crazy.
But like it was normal.
plumber, too.
Like, and a lot of them have side hustles going on. Anyway, so and it's all reasonably priced.
Ralph's
I've
lawyer
never
is
paid.
checking his house for a hurricane damage, climbing
Yeah.
on the
Anyway,
roof.
I'm just saying this is not so crazy, and I'm gonna get back to the story.
Okay.
This is not so crazy. So anyway, so I would check that. He would send me, anything. He was, had access to my personal stuff too, and I won't get into what all he had access to. It's nobody's business, but like he was watching my cats, and so he'd send me a picture of my cat and both of them, and show he fed them and stuff, and like I mean I believe him anyway, but just to kind of it cheered me up to see my cats too. So I would check in with him, and then I would check in on the Talking Parents app. Well, the mother of my son, the daughter of my son. We'll see if I make it that long. She was very nice, very reasonable, and we had like I would say a good to great dialogue. Even talked about some things that weren't necessarily related directly to my son. Talked about perhaps voice calls, like arranging something like that. And I don't know. I thought it was going great, but
So
when I got out,
basically,
all that changed.
so
but I'll tell
basically,
you how it
Vickers
changed.
found out about it, and that was.
Well, the emails is what
I don't want you to
sabotaged
give
all
out
this.
too much personal information, Ralph.
But it's literally the
You already
emails.
have. All right,
Because-
go ahead.
Well, I already have, but whatever. I'm just telling you. Well, fuck it. They
Not
want
a
to go.
fucking person.
I'm just gonna tell the truth.
I mean, I am
And-
curious, but
let the cards fall where they may. Anyway,
Okay.
and so usually not very fond of the month of May, but in this case, regardless, for several reasons. But my son was born that month, late in the month, so I guess that's the one redeeming quality. But so anyway, I wasn't lying when I said that I hadn't got, or that when I didn't reveal the email at first, because she said reveal from then on, right?
right.
Well, I got another email while I was in rehab. And so I didn't immediately reveal it, but I started thinking, well, I should be honest, right? I should just tell the truth. And I told, the mother of my son that if I got, like, I would be lying now, right?
Okay,
if I
right.
didn't, you know what I mean? It changed from, okay, I had the one email before, but now I would be lying, like knowingly lying. And there's no technicality. There's no lawyerly way out of it. All right. Like I would just be knowingly lying. And I was
Right.
like, okay,
so you
we
were
have
trying
this
to
good
do
thing.
the right thing.
Yes.
Okay.
For one, like I mean,
For
usually
once.
it's a lie that gets me in trouble.
Right,
In this
well,
case, it was telling the truth, and I told you this the other night off air. It was telling the truth, and I'm looking back. I just wish I would have kept my mouth shut, honestly. So anyway, then it becomes, oh, we need any emails you've had with her, and da 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 da. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. It's just baffling to me. Like, why do you need the emails? And so there was a little bit of back and forth on that. And this is around the time I got out, I believe. I don't know. I have to go back and check the days, but it was right around that time. And I'm like, why do you need the email so bad? Da, da, da. And I didn't know about a civil lawsuit. Now, of course, about the defamation lawsuit that Matthew Vickers filed against his own wife, where in that lawsuit, he says that his wife accused him of being a rapist and abuser. So I didn't know about that. Now, obviously, the mother of my son, most likely, I would say, most reasonable people would say, knew about that, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
And I
she's
don't-
got a restraining order against her mother. I imagine she knows that. Yeah.
Well, that was after, but I mean, I have no doubt, really, in my mind. And, maybe I'll just say it's my opinion that she already knew about it. And, of course, Matthew Vickers knew about it. And, of course, it's my opinion also that he has access to these messages, which has always been an issue. But regardless, it's like, okay, they want the emails. I was about to give them over. Because, like, whatever, like, it's better to, Ariana and I had a good rapport, but it's like, all right, it's better to have a good rapport with the mother of my son, right? Like, let's just keep a good thing going here. And I talked to a couple people off air. I may be here on air with one of them, but I talked to another. And, like, why would you give those emails over? Like, the mother of your son, Matthew Vickers, they want you. Don't forget their ultimate goal. Don't believe their lies. Don't let them get one over on you. Like, you're getting nothing in
Would you
return
stay
for all
out of
this.
it? Yeah, I would recommend
you're getting a
that.
bunch
I
of
would recommend
promises
that to you right now on the air to just stay out of it. But I think we're too
Well,
late on that one.
you're getting a bunch of promises of greater access and more involvement and this and that, but don't, like, that's and not worth the paper it was written on, which it wasn't written on any paper. So like, anyway, I started getting counsels like that, but I was still about to just, cause I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just give the emails over. And that morning I'd actually said the day before, my fucking internet had went out. And so the couple of emails were longer, and it's like I could do a full screenshot on my phone, but it has to scroll and stuff, and it would be all clunky. And I was like, well, wait till my internet. It wasn't a gambit, by the way. My internet was legit out. It's like, wait till my internet comes back, and I will screenshot it on my computer. Well, my internet came back, and then I'd already gotten some counsel from you guys, and I was like, well, maybe I should reach out to somebody first before I give these emails over, and maybe I should reach out to a couple people actually. And it was brought to my attention that the civil suit, the defamation suit, existed. Well, at that point, I was incensed because it's like, and of course, I immediately realized why the emails were wanted. It wasn't because Faith was worried about her mother. In my opinion, it was because of the lawsuit and like to be used to get, in a legal way.
Can you imagine?
Hold on.
We got to pause. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I have a question.
I have a lot of questions, but
go ahead. I'll let you guys talk for a second.
So you're saying to me that Faith Vickers was puppeted by her father to ask to get emails?
I don't even.
Well, that's obviously.
Hold on, you said she was puppeted.
This is my take from this whole conversation.
No.
I think that's obvious at this point.
No, I don't even think that's what's happening. I think Ralph's just been talking to Mr. Vickers this whole time. He's just been pretending to be Faith.
Well,
it's possible.
It's entered my mind at certain points, but it's hard to explain, but there's a style there, right? So there could be
not only that, it's just so obvious. Like, why would the first thing be show me the emails immediately? I need those emails.
The tone can change via message to message where I'm like, okay, this in my mind, in my view, it's like this was written by someone. This was from someone's point of view.
You actually think Vickers was writing the
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I personally think that.
I'm not saying that, but some messages have a certain way of writing, a certain tone, and others don't. And I'm not the only one who thinks that, I'll just say. I'll leave that there. But, and so, I felt taken advantage of. And I was like, I didn't know about this civil lawsuit, and I'm not giving over the emails. I don't want to be dragged into that. And you have no right to my emails in the first place. And if you want them, try to subpoena me, and you're not going to get them anyway. So
I'm going to subpoena you pro se on a lawsuit that alleges criminal actions, but it's a civil suit.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I mean. In my opinion, I've talked to some legal people as well, actual lawyers in the U.S. There's no leg to stand on there, which is why they were trying to get them voluntarily, right? If I give them over, right? Like, yeah, okay, you gave the emails. But, there's no right to my personal correspondence, private correspondence with the grandmother to my son, right? And so, anyway, I felt that I had been played, and I made that clear. And then all of a sudden, things done changed. And, it's back to the, one sentence a week updates. And, basically, any detente is completely over. And things are nuked pretty much. So, that's how things fell apart because I refused to give the emails. And, I'm not the only one who has, and they're not getting them. So, it is what it is. But that's what happened. And the reason, another thing that happened that morning though was a certain propagandist who, again, has been credibly accused by his two brothers of raping a 14-year-old, and who also has rotten teeth. And so he went on his show and started saying it. Well, yeah.
Well, that's what my question is about.
But wait, that morning, before I got in contact that morning, and before I found out about the lawsuit, he had went on his show and started saying some things that were of a personal nature about me and about my situation with my son, I'm like, all right, this is from Vickers, right? Like, I already know that's his outlet. That's the only outlet he has anymore that backs him. And I'm like, okay, this is being done on purpose to try to pressure me and say, hey, look, knuckle up, right? Like mob style tactics. And I know this tactic. It's like, all right, you want to play hard? Let's go. This is what you're looking in, this is what you're in store for if you don't give those emails. Well, that never works with me. Like, and then I started doing some investigating, reaching out to some people, and then I found out about the lawsuit. So really, if Vickers would have just played it cool, I was gonna give over the emails just to the mother of my son because I just wanted to keep the so-called good times rolling or whatever, and they weren't necessarily that good, but I thought so. Somebody on this call didn't think so. Another guy I know in private didn't think so. I was like, you're stupid if you give those over. But I was going to, but then it was like, all right, okay, let me do a little bit more investigating here because this is like, why are they spurging out? It didn't make sense. Why is the spurgery happening over these emails, right? Unless there's some type of ulterior motive. Well, it turns out there was, and it was the defamation lawsuit, and then I refused, and things got to where they got. And as far as me putting the lawsuit out myself, I'll tell the truth. When I found out about it, I was like, all right, I want to see that lawsuit. And it got known that the lawsuit was out there already. And, that's how I found out in the first place. Somebody had put it on Kiwi Farms or whatever. And so it's like, okay, well, and then I'd reached out and it's like, all right, confirmed, like via other sources. And like, all right, well, so I wanted to see it after I knew it existed. And I started working towards that goal, but I was not gonna put it out myself, and I just wanted to see it. And I assumed whoever got it probably would put it out, but like I wasn't gonna do it like I did yesterday. But but
you did, and it was epic.
But I did, and it was epic. Yes, true. But like as it got closer, Spectre was it day before yesterday? I was like, I'm about to get it. Da da da. And so I was like, okay. And my source went the old-fashioned route. Like they were gonna get
Spectre
it mailed
get
to
approval
them.
from a general to release
Well,
it.
look, I have no problem with Spectre actually at this point, but anyway, I'll just leave that there. No problems there. And so,
Okay. Interesting.
But he motivated me. He motivated me.
This whole
He motivated
thing,
me, and my source was they were doing their level best, but they were thinking like the old school, right? Like they're gonna mail it to me,
Yeah.
true FOIA, and this and that. Well, I have an email record of this, by the way, and so does somebody else at this point. Because somebody didn't believe this and thought it was given to me by a certain somebody or whatever, and I'm like, no, it was the courthouse, and I emailed the courthouse, and I said, I have, this involves my son, basically. I live in Mexico, and I have a right to that document and a couple other documents, actually,
yeah.
that I did not put out. And so,
How many documents are there?
regardless, I won't get into
Many.
all that. But I was like, I have a right to these documents,
Jesus.
and they're in my, my interest and pertain to my son potentially, and they didn't say anything. They just emailed me the documents that I asked for. And I mentioned I live in Mexico. They know me at this courthouse, dude, because this is a person I've dealt with at the courthouse. I don't even know. Literally, probably like 50 to 100 times. And so they just sent me the documents.
You've been to this courthouse
email.
over 50 times?
I've been to the courthouse itself maybe like
communication.
5 or 6 times,
But
but
you
like in terms of
communicated with
appearing, in terms of appearing in that courthouse, probably like 20 or 30 times via Zoom, and then 4 or 5 times in person, something like that. So yeah, they know me, and I'm like, I live in Mexico. Can you just email it? And they did. So that's how I got it, and I started thinking, well, I'm the dirtiest ape in the zoo, right? Perspicast. Yeah. I'm the straw that stirs the drink. I'm the creator, right? Like there were various, ideas floated around, and just send it to so and so or whatever. Da 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 da. Well, the more I started thinking about it, the more I was like, nah, I think it should be me. I think it should be me. I think that would, more people would see it, understand it for what I believe it to be. And it should be me out there telling people about it and setting the initial rules of play, right? And so that's what I did, and I did it on my show, and then I posted for the first time in almost 5 years myself. I didn't realize. I knew it would be a big deal for me to post on Kiwi Farms, but I didn't realize it would be that big of a deal, actually. Where it's like A1 featured on the site and 500 reacts and overwhelmingly positive reacts, by the way, I'll say. Yeah. So thank you for that on Kiwi Farms. But I knew it would be a big deal. I knew it was provocative, right? No one understands what it means. It's provocative, right? Like, I mean, I knew it was going to be that.
They were very ass hurt that you called them fags in their chat. That
was the other thing.
Some of them got it. I mean, I did see some people got it.
Well,
you know, like,
that was
funny.
Usual suspect.
What, you can't hang with the bands? Like, okay, you guys been sitting in that chat talking about me literally for 5 years. And so it's like, yeah, one of my first things I did was I went in that chat. I was like, fuck you, absolute faggots. And I wasn't even talking about everybody on the site itself. I was talking about that chat. I was like, fuck you, absolute faggots. Haru, you fucking whore. You should, do the right thing, I'll say here on YouTube. And then I didn't even say anything.
There's no way that's good.
I know, but whatever.
Maybe it's the 41%, but definitely not.
Yeah, but like that's just me, right? Like that wasn't even, it's just me shit talking, right? Like, okay, you guys been shit talking for 5 years. Oh, and then there's some people in the thread were like, Ralph couldn't just drop it and do the full right thing. He had to talk shit. And yes, like, yeah, that's me, motherfucker. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, what do you expect me not to be me?
How are they going to complain about that?
I know it's
not everybody did, but there were some who did, and I was like, okay. I went in there and called a couple people, a certain word I won't repeat it here or whatever, but like, and
you gotta know though, Ralph, how good does it feel to hold the championship belt, the fucking W, on all of these breaks, especially over the Vickers? How good does it fucking feel, man?
It felt good. It felt good yesterday. Yeah, that was my favorite show of the year. And then there was also the stuff with the Thorpes happening yesterday, and there was also the stuff with Keith Woods, and then the lawsuit reveal on top of it, and then me posting on Kiwi Farms on top of it. Yeah, that's my favorite show of the year, and one of my most memorable in my career. Even though I've had bigger crowds and stuff, but yeah, it was one of my favorite days for sure. And it was because not even getting one, I don't consider getting one over on my mother's son. I'm not even doing this to get back at her. I feel as if she's being manipulated, is what I feel like. And I'm trying to hold back any. Yeah, it does make me angry, but it's like, well, what did I expect, honestly, right? Like, I feel like at the end of the day, hopefully some people see some things and how they're being used. But, people know what they know, and they know the familiar, right? And the people are creatures of habit, and so I it's not about getting one over on her. I'm sure she probably thinks that or whatever, but no, it was about kicking rhetorically a certain rotten tooth coin shop guy.
The person who's at the top
temple.
Of all of these problems. It appears to me. I mean, there's no denying that.
What is it with these people with fucked up teeth that try to fuck with Ralph? There's like a ton of them.
No.
It's
I don't know, man. It's weird.
Vickers, fat fuck. Like they all have fucked up teeth.
Warski.
What is it? Yeah, Tarts.
He's got that little.
He's got the
gap in his gap. Yeah, he's got the gap tooth.
Their teeth are so fucked up, and I guess Jim's are too. I don't know that they try to say that I had dentures. And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, what the fuck? Like, all right, I always actually thought I needed some work on my teeth, but I guess you guys' teeth are so fucked that like mine are like fake in comparison.
Well, you
like,
can see the picture on the stream of Vickers' teeth. I mean, they're falling out of his fucking head. Look at these teeth.
Yeah, those are some real bad chompers. I gotta say.
Okay, let me ask.
Brushing your teeth.
I don't.
Okay,
I don't know,
we just watched this COG stream.
Well, I feel sorry for you. I see.
I feel sorry for myself too after watching.
So, but it seems to be that the whole narrative that COG and Vickers through COG are putting out now is that, like, Mrs. Vickers is off her meds. She's crazy. Like, she was, to quote COG, he said neuropathic painkillers. And then that's what this message that Vickers said. Oh, she's sane. She's off her medication. She's sober. To me, it sounds like a Kanye thing, right? Like,
yeah, it is. It's complete garbage, and I have reason for saying that. It's complete garbage, and it's a manufactured narrative. I believe certain people who are saying that probably do actually believe that, but no, that's not the case at all. And I consider Ariana to be quite sane and quite reasonable, and the most reasonable out of basically her whole family that I have contact with. So I've had any contact with in the last 5 years. And by the way, we said some really mean and nasty things to each other. But
Yeah, she
we
said
had
she
a
was going
great
to
time.
shoot you.
Yeah, like literally.
Yeah, we
And
opened
she
up
was
with
talking
one of
about
those clips. Yes.
yeah, like I mean, like there was some nasty things said, and you know, the guy who was credibly accused by his two brothers of raping the 14-year-old, you know, tried to make it out like, oh, she apologized to Ralph. How dare she? Da 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 da. Well, I mean, she apologized for some nasty things and just a general. She's like, let's change the tone here and da da da. You know, she broke the ice first, and I said, yeah, you know what? I apologize for this too, and I don't want to continue on like this, like. It gets tiring. Anybody's ever been in this type of situation outside, much less it being online like this shit has been, it just gets tiring at a certain point where it's like, man, can we just stop? And okay, we don't have to be besties or whatever. But it just it hurts your soul at a certain point. It's just it gets old. It's like it's boring. I you know, this is not what I wanted to be focusing on. Especially, you know, I just got back a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks ago. And, you know, I said this is not what I want to be focusing on. Having said all that, you know, as the facts change, I'll change my opinion, right? And I'll change how I engage.
Yes.
And the facts done changed,
So-
and so it is what it is.
Vickers clearly ain't heard no bell.
Yeah, well, I ain't either, and I ain't ever gonna hear one, as you know.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
Well, I believe that. All right, now we got like a big panel here. Kill All Casino, you've already asked your question. We can go back to you. Wild Smile, do you have anything to say or add or ask?
Did you have a specific reason for dropping that on Kiwi Farms? I think you covered that a little bit earlier, but was there a particular, like something that Vickers or anybody else had done? Anything in particular?
Well, I mean, I detailed a lot of the reason why I would do something like that already, right? But he had also used Kiwi Farms as, I would argue, like kind of like his personal army there in the early days. He used to post on there himself until he started becoming, you know, persona non grata, right? But he had a cheering section amongst a certain crowd over there. Now, it doesn't really exist now. But he, at one point, like, it was like, yeah, Vickers, get him, you know, take him down, da da da. Well, he burned up all that goodwill, but he was using them to, run. I don't say run off, but like try to dogpile me, right? And he would go in there and leak stuff and rile people up. And I saw that while it was happening. And so one part of me is like, all right, well, turnabout's fair play for all those times he did that. He doesn't post there now because he's a coward. But and if you know, the minute he starts getting some real heat, like, all right, I gotta go. That's why he only goes to the guy who raped the 14-year-old's chat to talk now, right? And only uses him because he's a complete stooge, right? So, and I'm here taking all questions, like whatever. But anything I'm legally allowed to talk about, I'll say there are a couple. Another situation that I can't speak on, but regardless, yeah. So there was that. Also, I knew it would be provocative, as I said earlier. I knew it would get attention. I didn't know it would get quite
You love
that
to
much
be as
attention.
provocative as possible.
Yeah. So I did it on my stream first.
Yeah.
Like I was like, all right, it needs to be on the kill stream first. Like fuck that. Like this is mine to reveal, whatever. But after I did that, also for the third reason, it's like, well, I just want the full copy out there. Yeah, I read it all on my stream, but like just so it's out there for the record, right? Just so people can look at it on their own. If they don't want to see my stream, or if they just visit the Kiwi Farms, that it will be there on Kiwi Farms. So that was the third reason, just for archival purposes. So people wouldn't have to go through my stream and like clip it out and screenshot it and all this stuff.
Right.
So that was the other reason. Of course, I could have just given it to somebody or whatever, and it probably would have got posted there. But I wanted to do it myself, and that's what I did.
All right. If you don't mind me asking you another one more question, if you have any any special stream planned for this February 28th, 2025 coming up. Like maybe a reaction stream to a certain Andy Worski stream on February 28th, 2019.
Probably not, right? Imagine.
Well, I've talked about that stream, and that was all Worski's idea. And it's not, I hate to defend Andy Worski. That's the last thing I want to do. But I assume you're talking about the one where they say he showed child porn or whatever.
Some people might have suggested that, yeah.
Yeah, and there was an article written. There was no child porn shown on that stream or to me. Now he did have the download file. Now to my knowledge, he didn't access it, but I don't know. That's what he said.
He definitely had the child porn though on his.
Well,
personal
he
device.
had the actual Google Drive link. I did not.
God.
But I don't know what he did. He said, listen,
on stream at some point.
I don't want to be on stream with that faggot, but like, regardless, I mean, I'm just saying, he said he didn't access it, whatever. Like, I don't know. But what he was showing me on stream was stuff that was publicly available on Instagram. And I think at a certain point, I tried to tell him not to show it at all because I was like, they were teenagers. Now they weren't naked, but they were like covering their boobs or whatever. And it had a link, like link in bio or whatever, shit like that. And he's like, Ruff, man, whoa, brother, do you think we can show it?
Beating off to that.
Yeah. But like also, but like when you're watching it on air, you can't see what we're seeing, right? And so it leaves it open to interpretation.
Yes.
And so he's so stupid, he's not realizing that. And so I can see it, and it's a public Instagram post, right? But the audience can't see it. And so I'm like, no, Worski, don't, whatever. And I guess maybe that makes it sound worse too. But he eventually does show it at a couple points where he like puts,
now wasn't
I don't know, emojis over their tits or whatever.
So wasn't there multiple people involved with this? Indigo White was the procurer, correct?
Yeah, Indigo White.
And Augie was somehow involved with this as well.
Yeah, look, I'm on great terms with Augie, so I appreciate you. I appreciate you bringing his involvement up.
Even knows with you, I don't know. Why?
But
the skeleton.
Well, because like Worski, literally, I was at the store to buy some beer. I've told this story before, but fine. I was at the store. I was like gonna buy some beer. I wasn't even streaming that day, or wasn't gonna stream to that night. I forget which. Whatever. It was a weekend. I don't remember. I think it was a weekend. I don't know. I have to go back and look. But I remember I was at this 48-hour store and they had great craft beer selection there. And I'm like literally picking out craft beer. And I was talking to my wife at the time. I was like, hold on, Worski's messaging me. And Nora, so I was talking about my wife at the time. And so he's like, whoa, brother, man, we had, it was a bad, I don't know, he'd had there was something that happened before that was bad. I can't remember if that was Miami that happened right before.
Yeah, or you got the ice bag thrown on you and he melted.
Or there was something, there was some bad PR.
Yeah.
There was some bad PR around that time. I can't remember the exact timeline. He's like, whoa, man, look, let's bust this pedophile ring on Instagram, man. Let's bust this. And this is the way to get back the mojo, man, whatever. And I'm like, he's like, it's an easy layup, man. Let's just do it. Like without any, and SoCal Chris was a part of it. Yeah, he's mentioned in the chat.
Bo Blacks, right, as well?
Complete psycho. I don't know if Bo Blacks is involved, but probably. But I can't recall that. But he's like, it's a layup, Ralph. Will you help me co-host? And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. And I clicked back over. I was talking to Nora, and she's like, do not do this. She's like, this doesn't sound like a good idea.
Should have listened to Nora.
You should have listened to Nora.
If I should have listened to her in every way possible, yes.
Seriously, Ralph.
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have the proof that Andy Worski had child pornography.
Well, he's already been accused of that 50 million other times. I mean, sure we do.
I know, but
look,
I mean,
what are 15-year-old girls on Instagram?
Look, I'm just saying, I should have listened to her many different times. If I had, my life would be completely different. Now, I did get a couple great gifts out of it, but and I don't regret those gifts, but it would be the alternate timeline right now, and I think about that sometimes, yeah. But she, more than sometimes, I guess. I don't dwell on it, but it pops up in my mind every once in a while. But she's like, I don't think this is a good idea. Like, this doesn't seem well thought out, and it's Worski, and she already knew what a dumbass he was. Like, and he's not as dumb as people think, but he's still a dumbass. He leans into it on air because it helps him get away with stuff. he is dumb, but he's not as dumb as people think, right? And about certain topics like video games, he does know a lot about.
He's cunning.
Yeah, he's cunning. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're right. He's a good manipulator. Good. He's very cunning. Correct. But he's like, I don't think you should do it. And like usual, you know, if say I'm going to do something, or I feel like it's whatever, I'm going to do it. Right? I just overrule. Even people I know who are talking. One's on the call right now, who give me great advice. You know, 99% of the time they're right. And, you know, I should listen to them. And there's somebody else I'm thinking of, a couple other people, actually.
Yeah.
I'll just overrule them because I'm Ethan Ralph, right? And you know what? I got here by doing what I want and, you know, flouting the rules and just following my own advice at the end of the day, following my gut. And so I overruled her. I was like, no, I'm going to do it. And it ended up being a disaster. But, you know, he told me he didn't access the Google
Another
Drive.
learning experience, Ralph.
Yeah, it was, but I didn't learn. Actually, I should have
All
learned.
right, let's
at that
move
point,
on
but,
from this, please.
But that's what
Lord.
happened. That's what happened with all that. And when I
Yes.
was there was nothing shown.
So Indigo
he said
White, though,
he said he
is
didn't
the
access
one that
it.
procured this, correct? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's always
and
the biggest question on this. Where did this come from? It was
she
Indigo
was the
White,
one who
correct?
procured it. She was the one who procured it, and I'll tell you, she went on my show and told this story. I think, if I recall correctly, she was underage on Tumblr,
Oh my God.
selling nudes, right? Like, and making a lot of money. And she told this story, I think, on the Kill Stream.
Yes, you did.
And by the way, Indigo White, now she was above age when she told this story. I think she was like 20 or something, 21. She was like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, like just smoking hot. But she was a nude model and porn actress, right?
Yeah.
But now she's turned into transgender, I'll say, here on YouTube, right? But she was drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah, she's Elaine Page now.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But
Really?
you know,
Fuck. I didn't.
but anyway, she knew how that area worked because she used to do it, right? So she had compiled all this stuff and had been talking to Augie, I think, and them at first, and then Worski got looped in somehow, and that's how. And then he started getting told the details, and he's like, "Whoa, man, yeah, we can bust these pedophiles." You know, like I said earlier, "Whoa, bro, we can bust pedophiles. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just do it live without any like real planning. Like, you know, within 12 hours or whenever he
Well,
like
he
got
didn't want
fully looped
anybody
in."
to think about it. Clearly.
Well, yeah, he didn't want anybody to think about it, and then or somebody to steal the scoop or whatever. And it's like, okay,
people were dying to steal that scoop.
yeah, something like that has to be handled with care. And, you know, I
Yes.
see it all looking back, how stupid it was. And it was stupid for me to be involved. But, like, you know, it's not necessarily that you couldn't do a show on that you couldn't reveal what's going on. I actually think that was a big problem and still is, right? Like, I
Just
don't
not
have
with
any reason to
Andy
believe
Worski.
that. Yeah, right, exactly. I have no reason to believe that it stopped. But and I think it should stop. You know, I don't think underage girls should be allowed on these social media sites to sell their ass, right, and to sell pictures of their ass, etc. And they are, and it's not just Instagram; it's X and it's Facebook, it's all these places, right? So yeah, I think that should be stamped out. I think that's a legitimate problem. But if you're gonna do a show like that and you're doing, you know, reveals, or you're wanting to show people like the problem without like in a responsible way, well, it needs a lot of pre-planning, and it needs somebody other than Andy Worski to run point. And I wasn't running point. I was the shooting guard there. You know, I was the color commentator. I wasn't the play-by-play analyst. I wasn't the host of the show, right? I was brought on as the color commentator, as the guest.
You were
as the guest,
reacting.
It was a twisted
Yeah,
mind.
right.
It needed to be more like a To Catch the Predator, where you actually have these idiots
Yeah.
come on and be like, you know,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we got a hot 15-year-old here, and then you bust them like live.
Right,
You
like
know.
it had so many ways. Yeah, looking back, I think about it. I'm like, you know, it's not that it was like it couldn't have been done, or that Worski's instincts about it being a big story
You needed
were,
that
were
giant
wrong.
Jewish guy that you had on.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
needed
exactly. Alex Wilson. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not even that. I'll give Worski a little slight credit. Like, it's not that his instincts were wrong. Like, this was a big story. This was a issue that, you know, even if you want to be crass and just want the attention from it or whatever, this was something that could move the needle. But in my view, it was like actually something that, you know, needs to be stamped out. But you have to plan it better. Like, you can't just roll in there, guns blazing, and like, oh, let's just show people what's going on. You know, that's obviously retarded. And so anyway, that's the
I
story
hear
behind all that.
Surfer's been trying to get in. What do you want to say, Surfer?
Regardless how Worski wanted to sell it, he didn't want to catch the predator. He wanted to capitalize off the sea.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
So true.
He wanted the attention from
He
it.
wanted
yeah.
the paycheck. He wanted the paycheck.
Yeah.
Well, he gives
Yeah.
It
It's
wasn't
always
about
about
the
the-
kids. It wasn't about the kids. It was about my super sensible.
It wasn't about the child porn. No, it wasn't. It was about Worski and getting dollars, and that's what it's always about with him. And you know, I could even tell with the way he was on the phone. It wasn't like, oh, we need to stamp out this problem. It wasn't anything like I just said. It was, oh, whoa, we can change the narrative, man. He didn't use the word narrative because that's not in his vocabulary, of course. But we can change the story, man. Whoa, get an easy W. I'm like. Again, looking back, of course I was half drunk, right? Like even when I was buying the beer, you know, I'm not gonna blame it all on that, but I was like, all right, whatever. Like I'll jump on there. I jumped on this show plenty of times before. I was like, all right, whatever. And so I just agreed to it. But that's how I literally got roped in like an hour and a half before it happened. So I didn't even know. Like I'm learning like live on air for the most part. Like I just talked to him about it briefly before we went on air, and that's it. So yeah, it was a huge mistake, and you know, I wish I wouldn't have been a part of it, but it's also been misrepresented. I don't know what he did. You know,
well, he's the one that
with the
downloaded
file.
it, so you know.
Yeah. I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
he
mean,
did.
he had
but
the child porn.
While I was there, nothing like that was shown. Nothing like that was accessed. It was only stuff on Instagram that was in public, and he had to even show that. You can go back and listen. And I'm on air, and I'm like, don't show that. I don't think we should show that. And he ends up showing it anyway, but he like puts emojis over it or some shit.
Well, you're
It's like, all right.
vindicated. In the interview he did with PPP, he took credit for the whole thing. He
Yes.
took all the blame. He said it was all his
Yes.
fault. I mean, you're totally vindicated. He took credit for having all the child porn.
Well, everything I said, yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot that existed. I mean, that's all. Like, yeah, he said that from his own
It's on
mouth.
record.
Yeah.
So anyway, no, I don't plan on doing a memorial stream for that. A long story short,
Well,
but
kill Kino Casino. We may have to do something.
You
We-
absolutely
you know.
could.
What did you say?
Yeah, you guys
Wild
could-
Smile?
Oh, I was just saying, you know, that's why you're pretty much in the clear. You could just stream that stream and yourself reacting to it, and it, you know, you'd get nothing but dancing and pissing all over the graves.
you know what? It's you know what? You're not wrong. Honestly, you're starting to sway my opinion here a little
Ralph
bit.
loves
You
dancing.
and you don't have to say anything.
I mean, it's not something that I like. I don't.
Ralph,
I mean,
look
I
at
don't
it as a
mind talking about it. Go ahead.
You know, that's all it is. It's a retrospective, looking back.
Yeah,
on the
well, like if somebody asked me about it, I just give the story like I just tell the truth, right? Like I just did, and with the story earlier too. But you know, it's not a bright shining moment in my career that I usually like to highlight, right? Because it's a huge mistake to be involved with. But you know, pitched in that way, yeah, I see what I can see what you're laying down there. I can see it in another way too. So
Let Kill Kino Casino handle that, Ralph. That's my advice.
Yeah, you don't need to get your
that's-
hands dirty with that. I mean,
that's
we've
kinda-
already. I'm already making plans as we speak.
It's in his name. It's in his name.
that's kind of what
Yeah,
I think.
listen.
That's kind of what I think.
I'll do the
I was
dirty
in-
work.
Surfer, do you have
I-
a question? We got to surrender this to Surfer.
Yeah,
Wait.
yeah. Anything else on the
Yeah, then we got to go
Vickers
to
stuff and all
Squire.
that?
We've only gotten through
Yeah.
3 questions so far.
Yeah, get all your questions in because
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Man, I took a little nap earlier, and I gotta get some work done, and I gotta eat as well. I was 80.7 kilograms, and I even took a picture earlier, and that is 177.9 pounds. And I'd gotten down to 172, I think, in 2023 before I met Denise, and we went on our run. Man, she got some good. Anyway, I won't say that. She does got that. She's
Just
got that
call her.
gorilla. She got that gorilla grip. I won't lie. But my God. Anyway, regardless, there's some bad things too. But I don't have anything bad to say about a lot of those times. But I started to I got back up to as high as 190. I didn't get to 200. Like 198 last summer. You can even see last summer, I was fatter. You could tell I was starting to get fatter again. And I think I was 188, maybe 189 when I went into rehab. So I've lost about 10 pounds since then. And when I get down to 160, so, but I still have to eat something today. I did have a couple tacos for lunch, but I'm going to eat something here in a little bit. But yeah, get your questions in.
Yes, Surfer, go ahead.
comment is that Vickers has been, focusing the last 5 years on trying to destroy Ralph's life. And now his life is falling apart. He's going through a divorce and all that. But my only question is, when is the sex tape with Ariana coming out?
That's not gonna
Where is this
happen.
going?
Surfer, what the
Surfer's mind immediately goes there.
He just wants to troll. That's fine. It doesn't bother me, but no, that's not gonna happen. There's no relationship there. I saw the guy who raped the 14-year-old, according to his brothers, right? Implying that I was, and some people in his chat.
Yes, he
implying that I
was. We saw some of that he was implying there was a relationship there. Yes.
Yeah, there isn't.
All
So-
because she apologized to
I
Ralph.
just
That's
thought-
so
Yeah.
fucking wild.
Yeah,
I just thought that maybe Mr. and Mr. Vickers have watched the sex tape enough times that maybe Ariana was gonna
You
go-
think
I don't-
Mrs. Vickers
I don't
got
know
off on
any-
it?
Oh, no.
Oh my
I
God,
completely
Surfer.
disavow.
What
I
the
completely
Jesus
disavow.
Christ,
It's
Surfer.
disgusting.
Well, I knew
No.
Surfer'd have a good question. So.
I wouldn't call it good, quote unquote, but yeah.
Well,
from
the
a certain
chat
point of
is
view,
like
maybe, but
trying
no.
to kill each other, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. But Squire, what's your question, brother?
I mean, I don't like regards to this. I don't really have a question. I think Ralph pretty much covered it. Like, honestly, Ralph was smart to just say that she was emailing, because that could have always been some kind of weird entrapment bullshit
Yes.
where they were like,
Yeah.
Look, he's lying.
he's lying, about this email. I guess I do have one question for Ralph.
Sure.
This is gonna be the hardest hitting question, Ralph. So just be prepared.
Okay.
Zaxby's or Bojangles?
Ooh.
Squire.
And as a follow up, what's your
Squire has his
go-to?
love of fast
I
food.
mean, Zaxby's is a little overpriced, I'll say.
I agree.
But it's so damn good. But they used to have these rotisserie bites. I don't know if they still do at Bojangles. And they were so delicious. And for bang for your buck, Bojangles. If you want to splurge a little bit, Zaxby's, but I kind of think Zaxby's a little bit overrated. And I grew up more with Bojangles. Bojangles was in my area. So I guess if I had to pick, probably Bojangles. But Zaxby's is right there. I just feel like Zaxby's was more on the level in pricing, maybe. But I didn't even see a Zaxby's till I moved to South Carolina when I was like 20. So I grew up with Bojangles. So I'll say Bojangles.
I just recently had Bojangles. I actually really liked it. I thought it was
Yeah.
on par or a little better than Zaxby's.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel too. Yeah, exactly. It's basically even or maybe even a little bit better.
I had the
especially-
chicken sandwich the
Yeah.
first time I went there. That was great. I was surprised.
Yeah, it's good. I've had that too. And so, yeah, it's on par or better. And then you consider the price. It's not as expensive. Zaxby's is crazy. At least it was last time I saw it with the price. And so, and I grew up with Bojangles. So you're the opposite of me, right? You had more Zaxby's probably around where you were. But I didn't. Yeah, so I'll pick Bojangles.
I've got a question. What's up, Perso?
Okay, so Shamu has joined us now.
Oh,
Yes,
hello,
Shamu.
Shim.
Yeah. What's
Go
up,
ahead,
guys?
Shamu. This is our
What's
newest
up, Ralph?
panelist. Yeah.
Hello, Shamu. This is Brian Dunn, the king of pole.
Yeah. Dude, you do sound so much like him. And the funniest thing is that Brian back in the day did use a voice changer for a little bit when he came back to the internet one time. And he made his voice sound deeper, which I think is why Stone Mexican guy is so convinced. But my question for Ralph, okay, so Vickers files, he's going through this divorce case, and he files a restraining order, a domestic violence restraining order on Ariana. Now, that happens like 3 or 4 months ago, something like that, to my knowledge.
Yeah,
And then
something
just recently, though, he had his children, both Ethan and Faith Vickers, filed a domestic violence restraining order. And I was just curious, and you might not be able to answer this, but how long has it been, to your knowledge, since Ariana has even seen them? Because people were talking about him being the puppet master and things like this. I just found it odd that months after Matthew files his own restraining order, that all of a sudden 2 of his kids do that are staying with him or close to him.
I don't know the timeline with
You
her
don't?
son Ethan. I think it's been a while. I know she. I'll just say she hasn't seen my son in a year, and you can extrapolate that out to his mother if you wish. I don't
Okay.
comment on their relationship, but she's been cut off from my son for a year. So
Yeah. I think that's the most interesting thing, or that was the first thing that came to my mind when I saw those domestic violence restraining orders. Because you have a guy that is suing somebody for defamation, right? And then I think maybe after the defamation suit, I'd have to check the dates, but he's getting his kids to file these domestic violence restraining orders, and like I don't even know if they've seen her or anything like that. It seems like a way to kind of try to just fuck her up legally. It's what a lot of this feels like to me. But
to my knowledge, she has not anytime recently. So, but like again, I'll just comment on him, my son, etc. in his life. But yeah, that's another reason why I kind of see that as preposterous. And to my knowledge, also they haven't been served anyway. But the way a temporary restraining order usually works, they grant it as a temporary restraining order almost automatic, like 80-90%. They just give it, and then you go to court on it. You have a hearing on it, and you can either negotiate something, or you can push it to what's called an evidentiary hearing, and people have to testify, and that's on the record, and that can be used in any other proceeding going forward, civil, criminal, otherwise. So a lot of times if you're facing possible criminal sanctions or whatever, your lawyer always say, well, I'll just sign it, whatever. Like you don't want to go on the record on anything that could be criminal in a civil setting, because the evidentiary rules are completely different. The balance of power is completely different, and you only want to go on the record on something that could put you in criminal jeopardy in a criminal court, right? With the laws of procedure that apply there, and the standard of evidence, and burden of proof, and all that stuff. But there's no criminal allegations as far as I know. I haven't even read through them, but there's no criminal allegations in there anyway, as far as I know. So I'm hopeful that she's just going to push it all the way to an evidentiary hearing, but I don't know that for sure. But I'm hopeful, because I see them as spurious, to use a word, and I think she would prevail on that. But they've been temporarily granted, but to my knowledge, they haven't even been served, so they don't go into effect until they're served. And so they're not even in effect as of now. That's a lie. They have to be served on a person first. So the factually accurate rapist over in England who does the show is actually incorrect. They're not in effect right now. But yeah, that's how it works with restraining orders and stuff. So I'm hopeful she'll push it, because I think it's bullshit.
Yeah. And Cog really is just like taking his spot as the I was thinking like, well, maybe he'll give like an objective take, or because these are like pretty serious allegations. Vickers also has the
why would Cog do
I
that?
don't know,
he's Vickers' cipher.
I'm gullible, I guess, sometimes, but he said, he's got the $125,000 lawsuit, all this stuff that makes Vickers look terrible. You put all these things on the list, it starts to be like, well, I don't think this guy has very much credibility. But he's really taken his place to just try to crazy make her. Their narrative is going to be that she's just insane. She's nuts. She's just crazy, which is kind of
Cog
typical in that kind of situation.
Look, somebody said just say his name, whatever. Y'all said he's a fucking moron and a rapist, and so according to his own brothers, so whatever. Like he's an idiot. He goes where the money goes. He's in my opinion, what you see on the screen is not. I already have very strong reason to know that that's the case as well. What you see on the screen is not the full tale in terms of funds he's received from a certain party out in California. And so, he goes where the money goes, and, he's like, well, Ariana could reach out to me and da-da-da. And, she'd be a fool to reach out to him in any way, or she could call into the show. Foolish. Never do that. Never speak to that fuck, because it's obvious, what team he's playing for, and he would just. He first off, he can't interview anybody anyway.
Yeah, he sucks at interviewing.
It would suck. But also, it would be a hatchet job, kind of like he did with Raven about a year ago. So it would be a hatchet job, and you already know who he's working for. So no point in going on there, and. I don't have any worries that that'll happen. So no point in even reaching out and talking to him. You saw what he did today. I had both sides of the story. That's what I said in my video, and that's what's true. I had both sides of the story, because I'd heard from Mother My Son, and obviously In my opinion, that was influenced by Matthew as well, right? Vickers. And so I had that side of the story. And then I got another side of the story. And I was like, okay, I believe that side of the story. And I made my decision having heard both sides of the story. And so I haven't read both sides. And so that's how I made my decision. So, the rotten tooth rapist can't say that. Oh, the 3 R's. Or 2 R's. Yeah, I'm going to have to start using that one. That one rolled off the tongue, didn't it?
Didn't you guys?
Rotten tooth rapist. There it is. Boom. There it is. There it is. Just like sector. Bam. Sometimes you hit it and it's just like, boom, there. That's it right there. The rotten tooth rapist. There we go. There we go. So yeah, he didn't hear both sides. I did. And I made my decision based on that.
People want to know if the rehab was a resort or was it like a, I don't know. People want to know about this rehab.
They do want to know about it. They do have resort rehabs in this area. They have all different kinds of rehabs. I'm not going to go into this exact specifics. There's a reason that I'm not.
Don't go into any specifics. Was it like a resort or what was it?
No, but I'm not going to. The reason I'm not doing that is because I fully expect that to come up. And
they want to know what kind of program it was.
It's going to come up in proceedings, and so I'm not going to talk about it beyond what I already have.
Okay.
And so, you could probably imagine what proceedings those will be, and I can't really talk about that issue anyway. And it'll come out. I'm sure that certain parties will leak that sooner or later. And so,
but why? What the fuck?
Because that's just what they do. Personally, that's what it. This is. It's the sector, dude. It's the fucking zoo. Like, I don't know. That's just what people do. So it will come out sooner or later, I'm sure, where I was at. But it's not to my interest for all that information to come out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not my interest for it all to come out.
Are you going to piss on the ashes of the Rockland coin shop?
No, I probably won't do that, but I did get a good chuckle when somebody took a picture of the
they don't know
sale
it
sign
anymore,
or something.
So that'd be perfectly legal.
I don't know. It's the indecent exposure perspective. They pull your dick out. Not that some people may have engaged in that before, but regardless, I won't actually do that. No.
Okay. I'm seeing a lot of.
Just bring one of your piss jugs over.
Yeah, do it like to piss in a jug and then pour it on the ashes of the coin shop.
Is that legal? I don't know. I'll have to ask Nick Ricada.
Yeah, you'll have to ask Nick.
And get his expert opinion. By the way, M-Hole, it looks like he's going to trial. Ricada got subpoenaed too. These are not the moves that a prosecutor makes when they're looking to cut a deal. Like they're going to subpoena Gino, Keanu. They subpoenaed April. They subpoenaed Nick Ricada. Of course, they have Kayla Ricada already. Like, these aren't the moves that a prosecutor makes when they're looking to cut a deal. And so I'm expecting this to go to trial, and I may be in Minnesota in May because I need to be in that courtroom. So M-Hole, another win for the toe. I think it needs to be another win for the Ralph Male, and then I need to be there in person in May and do some live court retorting, if you know what I mean. So, of course, I can't do it in the courtroom, but running out of the courtroom, start tweeting like they do with the big trials. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on my phone. This just happened. During each little break, like I'm running out the door to get the first tweet out. Me and a couple others. I think I may go up to Stearns County. We'll see. Not my favorite place, obviously, but I might do that.
Yeah, it'd be awesome if you did. If you can do it, I would do it for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously all this craziness going on, and I usually reserve my trips to the U.S. for seeing my son. I'm sure there'll be another thing. I know there will be another reason to go to the U.S. At a certain point. That point hasn't arrived yet, but there'll be another reason to go. But that's usually the only reason I go. And I went one time, to Minnesota last year. It's like, oh, should I really do it again? But I don't know. It's looking like it might be an event, and this one will be for all the marbles, as they say. This will be an actual criminal trial, so it's a little bit different. So I might do it, yeah.
The Ricada and the M-Hold stuff is just something that just never dies. This drama's been going on for a while now.
Oh, that's never going to die.
Court cases and all this shit. It's insane.
Colonel J says, by the way, follow Colonel J's channel. He's amazing. He said I should show up in a powdered wig,
Yes.
internet aristocrat style. Dressed like fucking Thomas Jefferson or some shit. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I should.
Yeah,
Like,
that'd be
full powdered
great.
wig.
No, man, you gotta go with the Fed shirt, thinking like what, Afro Man.
Oh yeah, the Fed shirt and the cowboy hat. That would also be
And the
an
cowboy
iconic
hat.
look. Yeah. Black cowboy
Yeah.
hat.
Yeah, I would have to get another one printed because I've lost so much weight. I still have a Fed shirt somewhere. If I put it on now, it looks like
If
a
you
tent.
really
That's
want to
it.
destroy M-Hole, take April on a date. Take pictures of you on a date with April.
Well, you know, Hackmania happens right before that, and I was invited to that. I don't know if I'm gonna go or not. Like, I'm not putting it down or whatever. I've thought about it, but it's in Vegas, and like, you know, I'm just got to rehab, and I'll
Go
you know,
with
it'll
it.
be
You
May,
know what
but
would
still.
really destroy him, Ralph? If you were in a
What?
hot tub with April in Brackett's backyard.
Yeah, that'd be a great picture. That'd be fucking
He
hilarious.
just lose his mind.
Me and April and Nick Ricada and Kayla Ricada all just chilling in the hot tub.
I can see that. That'd be a great
Maybe a little
opportunity.
snow falling behind the scenes, if you know what I mean. No.
Yeah, well, yeah, you gotta stay away from
You know,
that.
it gets snowy in Minnesota sometimes.
Yeah.
Perspective, you know what I mean.
You don't want to fall into a snowbank. It's true.
Forecast calls for a goddamn blizzard here. Like,
Yeah, you know what? That's maybe not a good idea.
yeah, I'm trying to stay on the straight and narrow. I don't know, but yeah, no, I'm just joking, of course, in all regards there. But yeah, that would be quite the photo op.
I mean, she is hot. There's no doubt about it. So
Would, yeah, would for sure.
yeah, I
feel
mean,
like
nobody
Yeah.
would hold it against you with April. Like nobody would. As far as that goes.
I mean, you've seen some of these dogs I've had in my life before. You know, this would be a step, but for the most part, I've had a couple of fetching.
What are you saying,
ladies,
Wattswell?
but,
You're too far from the mic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I thought I was cutting Ralph off. Dude, people were talking about that AI image of pregnant April with you giving a thumbs up right by it. That was
I didn't see that. Holy
That was
shit! Well, you know,
insane.
the Ralphasperm go hard, so you know, it probably wouldn't take too many attempts there. It hasn't in my experience. To do the job, you know, the rotten tooth rapist over in England, he has real problems with his sperm count. Apparently, can't get the job done. But you know, I never had that problem. So you know,
Well, aren't there like 20
Did you
kids
guys
in that
see-
house anyway that he's supposed
if called into
adopted?
service, you know, I'm sure I could do the job. But what were you saying, Perspicacity?
I said that isn't there like a bunch of Indian children in that house? And like
Well, he
he's
stole-
adopted Dan's daughter.
He
That
stole
I've
Dan's
seen on Twitter.
daughter. Yeah, so he can molest her.
Oh my
and
god!
so, and he puts her on screen, you know, any chance he
that's
gets.
sick.
And
Does he
he's a
really?
he's
He
a
really
really
has
good
the
guy.
daughter come
Yeah.
onto the stream.
Yes,
This is
she's
why
been
I
on
They
the
have
show.
like
refuse to
whole
expose
segments
myself.
with
This to
the
Kyle.
Yes.
daughter.
Yeah, she's been on there for
Oh my
sure.
God.
And I
This
have
is why
no
I refuse
doubts.
to show. Don't
And
ask
they
me
make her
why.
say like stuff about Ralph. Like they make her
Yeah.
say like A-log lines.
Yeah, they do. They have her repeat A-log lines, and he's got a really. I mean, look, he's got a really creepy relationship with her, and it's very apparent on air. And his brothers have said he's raped the 14-year-old. I have, you know, no doubt really that he's grooming her for future relations, and I'm not the only one who thinks that. So.
It's fucking
I
disturbing.
hope I'm wrong. By the way, I've said this before. I hope I'm wrong, and pray that I'm wrong, honestly. And you know, obviously, I said it in a provocative way a minute ago. But in all seriousness, yeah, I hope I'm completely wrong about that. But I don't think I am.
It is weird to get her to like repeat
Hope you're wrong,
lines.
too.
Like I've heard her repeat lines about like PPP and stuff. It's a bit odd, you know.
About PPP?
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
do it for
And it-
everybody.
For everybody, probably. That's the only one I saw though.
so happy
Did you guys
I've
see him
never
on
watched
Twitter
the show.
today? It was like really pathetic. Like before he would even go live, I think it was like a quote tweet of me maybe, but he was like asking for $20. He was like, if you want to hear my take on the Vickers, I need $20 right now.
Yeah,
Well,
I've never
so, like,
seen
today-
something like that before. Yeah,
Me
he did do
either.
that. Yeah.
He did a show
Yeah.
and then he was like, if you give me $50, I'll do a second show today. So he'll do like like multiple shows based on like variable goals that he just makes up in his head. It's really
So
weird.
what
He
he
clearly
only
has
makes
nothing
live-
going on.
Look, he only makes money when he talks about me, guys. If you follow his stuff,
So-
and which I don't really, I wouldn't say I follow it, but I'm like, all right, I've got people that keeps tabs on it, and I'll skim through, like, see what craziness is going on every once in a while. He only makes money when he talks about me.
So what happened
that's
to
why-
Dan though? It's supposedly his best
He
friend.
hit a big
the
goal
fucking
today because of the
hulking idiot.
Vickers stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Because the Vickers stuff, yeah, but that's really about me, right? Like,
Well, yeah,
Right,
it's all
yeah.
about you.
so,
I guess.
yeah,
That's
it's
the only
all
reason I
about-
watched is because I knew he would have a Vickers exclusive.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why anybody would watch that, right? There's no other reason. So, but yeah, that's all he makes money on, and he's a disgrace. And what else can really be said? I don't know. I guess like,
Well, we've seen the living
Uh,
conditions, so
I see the
he's
Ravencast
already
is Cog
living
made
in
her do. Cog made her do a song about PPP and made her also talk to that one weirdo that showed up to Ralph's house and was a creep. Oh, you mean Rush Paps? Yeah, he's a real psychopath.
Jesus.
So,
I'm so happy.
look, man,
I have no
I don't-
idea what you're talking about.
I don't know if you guys think most people I would say would think that's not cool to pimp out some little girl on stream like that and to be super creepy with her and to steal somebody else's daughter. And I don't know. I don't think it's cool, but the other thing where he's like, oh, it's no big deal if she calls me dad, and this and
Oh,
that.
my
And I'm
God.
like, okay. He's not
Gross.
with, like, he's married to her mother's sister, right? Like, that's not.
He
it's
said
not-
that. That's
no, he said that.
fucking
He said that on air. Yeah, it's no
crazy.
big deal. Sometimes she calls me dad, and it's no big deal. Right?
That's
as far as
deranged.
Things are a little
What?
different in India.
Oh, it's no big deal, mate. Oh, yeah. No, literally, he said this. He's literally said this. So
Anton said a minute
See,
ago in chat, Cog lets his weird fans named Bunghole Tiger send plushies to that child for video shout out.
What? I don't
man,
even
I
watch
can't-
it.
Oh
This is so
yeah, I
fucking
think they had a
disturbing.
scandal where like they were sending like stuffed animals and shit to the kid, or it was really freaky.
Fuck?
Fucking deranged.
yeah, look, I
Surfer, get
can't. I
closer to
don't-
the mic.
You know, Genius Anus is back too. I think he came into to Cog's chat or something
He is
today.
back. And check my Twitter because there's a nice thread.
Is back.
There's
Of course he's back.
There's a nice thread that I retweeted on my Twitter at
He
the
wants to go
or
to
X
Disneyland.
account. At the Ralph, that was disgusting, by the way, and completely depraved.
He needs
uh,
a
what happened
PS5.
there. But regardless, yeah, check my Twitter account at the Ralph Retort, and there's a nice thread on him that I went back and
With the handwritten note?
reanimated. I don't know. It's sick. I gotta go because I gotta get something to eat.
All right,
but
Ralph. You don't want
if
to
you-
take us
I'm,
to
like,
you on the
starving.
Twitter run? Well, I got to cover this lawsuit now, so we
I
gotta
could
get
probably
Yeah,
do that, but
for real.
Yeah, cover the
We
lawsuit.
haven't even covered the lawsuit.
Yeah, go through it. Enjoy. I didn't expect. I was really gonna just come on and drop. I said a hot 16.
I didn't
like
think
they say, a
everybody
hot-
would want to get in on this, but we've got
not a hot 16-year-old like Cog would. I guess that's too old for him. But I'm in a hot 16 bars, right? Like that's what they say in the rap game. And I was thinking about 16 minutes really, and it ended up being over an hour, well over an hour.
More
So
like 50 bars.
yeah, that was 100. What is it? 300 bars and running? Is that what the game dropped? I can't remember now. But yeah, that one. It went long, but it was enjoyable, and I always have a good time here on Perspicasty Show. And but I don't see any super chats coming in. Can you? I see the icon there. Do you accept super chats?
yeah, I don't even care to grift. If people want to send super chats, they're more than welcome.
Well, I mean,
to
if
send
you
super chats.
if you enjoyed and you want to send one, I'll do what the caller on my show did the other day after the segment, and he's like, "Hey, if you enjoyed this segment, send Ralph some
I don't
super
even
chats."
know how
Like,
many viewers we have.
Oh,
Hold
the
on a second.
German. That was a good segment.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
about to
we
post
got-
that, by
we
the
got,
way.
like, we're doing okay turnout. 176 is decent.
It got up
I
to
could do
almost
better,
200
but-
there a minute ago. Yeah, it got up to almost 200. If it would have been promoted ahead of time, I didn't know I was going to be here and stuff. And it was going to be such an event. I think it would have even more. But regardless, yeah, if you like it, support Perspec, whatever. I did love that segment with the German. I think Colonel J's already clipped it, but I'm going to post it on
Play my clip. What clip?
on my
Cogsworld?
Rumble. On my Rumble. Oh, look at that.
It's a fake Cogs world. There's like 50 fake Cogs world.
What do you
in the
mean?
chat.
That's not fake. That looks like the real one.
It's literally Cog's
Real
head with
world.
the tranny flag behind. I think it's fake.
I know that's what I'm saying. Wait, that's his real icon, isn't it?
Sounds real to me.
That looks actually accurate to me. Hey, hold on. I think you're wrong here. Like, you might be losing your mind. Did you stop taking your medication, Perspicacity?
Yeah,
Wait a minute. Hold
I
on.
need another smoke. Well, my
I'm
my
gonna
Yeah,
have to
name
file
is
a
neuropathy
restraining order.
drugs.
Let me get to the courthouse. I need to
Neuropathy
put a
drugs.
restraining order on you, brother. Hold on. Wait a minute. But yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
wow, that actually worked.
Oh,
And
okay,
I know
I
you've
see it.
cultivated an audience where you don't even get super chats. You kind of like openly scorn it. I do need them because that's how I live.
well, I don't
yes.
scorn it. It's just not, I don't really care. You know me. I don't even
Yeah,
really
I know.
promote
Well, you
this
have
stuff.
a job outside of all this. Yeah, I understand. It's different for you. And I like that vibe too, where it's like,
I
it
hate
is
that-
different.
Well, you know what I hate
What is the job?
most
I'll
is
say it does
when
change it a
people
little bit.
won't answer any
Yeah.
questions in the chat because they're like waiting desperately for a super chat. It just kills the whole show, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll say,
Now you don't
It's
really
different.
do that. I've worked with you. You're always reacting to the chat, so that's not an issue
Oh,
for you.
yeah,
But a lot
yeah, I
of people
react
do
to fr-
that.
I don't play this
Like
while
the
I'm here. By the way.
casino.
Yes.
I don't want to. I don't play this while I'm here.
Okay.
But yeah, I always look at the chat. Like, you don't have to send a super. I shouldn't say this, I guess, openly, but you don't have to send in a super chat to get my reaction, right? Because I'm always looking to chat, reacting for free, right? Like, but that is what pays my bills and stuff. So, but it does change it. Like, I respect the, like, I don't really care if I get super chats or whatever. I got a job outside of this, and it's a hobby, or it is a different vibe. And I try to keep that same feel, but it's different when it's your job, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, it's just a different ballgame. You can't help that. It changed it a little bit, but I had a great time here tonight, and just spoke off the cuff, and truthfully and factually accurate about everything, although legitimately factually accurate. There's a difference. And so I had a good time, and thank you to the entire panel, and thank you to Perspicacity for being a good friend and finally talking me into rehab as well. And
Well, you sound
just,
good. You sound like you're
sticking by
making
me.
sense.
Well, thank you. I've had a lot of people say that. Even some people you might not expect, where it's like, "Whoa, Ralph, okay, he's on the ball here." And again, I'm not patting myself on the back. It's not the time to spike the football. Never will be a time for that. I've done that before, and then you know where that leads. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I feel like some people, perhaps Matthew Vickers, thought they'd be dealing with a barred out, slumped over, drunked out Ralph, and that's not what they're dealing with. And this is a completely different animal, the beast, if you will, and the dirtiest ape in the zoo. Thank you, Perspicacity, for having me this evening,
Well,
sir.
thank you. It was an interesting segment. We got all of basically the background, all the questions that I kind of had about this have been kind of answered at this point. So
Yeah, I think it was
it's all out there now.
pretty thorough, and people want to go back. If developments warrant, I'll delve back in on my show. But I think this segment right here kind of answers everything, right? Like, and was a way to kind of extend on the video that I made earlier. So, if big things happen or new stuff drops, maybe I'll talk about it. But I think it's been pretty much covered now, and I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you, man.
Thank you for coming on, Ralph. It was very interesting
Thank you, man.
appearance.
Well, thank you guys. And again, suffer, Vickers! I saw that in the chat. Suffer, you fucking piece of shit, motherfucker! All right, good night.
All right, good night.
That's the king I know.
There he is.
I love it.
Thank you for watching this clip by Colonel J. This is the King of Bold here. Remember to like and subscribe. Juice!